Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Wait a minute. Okay, no, that's nothing. I thought my mic was on the screen there for a second, but it's just background with a ribbon on it. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Magical Coffee Hour. I am Drake, and if this is your first time, we're glad to have you. We here on Magical Coffee Hour, we take questions, we answer questions. Sometimes we have a topic. When we do have a topic, I make sure it's in the title below. And tonight we do have a bit of a topic that was indeed inspired by a lot of emails I've been getting. Y'all know that happens. You guys keep emailing me, and if I see something continually popping up, I'm going to bring it up and talk about it without naming names and pointing fingers. Um, we already got a lot of people in the chat. We are live on both YouTube and Rumble, and it does look like we got quite a few people joining us over at Rumble. Hello, good to see you, everybody. Mugs up to everyone who is joining us, whether you're at YouTube or Rumble. We appreciate it. I will say, make sure you do follow our Rumble channel. Even though Magical Coffee Hour will be live on YouTube and Rumble, we do have some content coming in the upcoming year that is going to be Rumble exclusive because we're wanting to have some conversations that YouTube won't let us. And also be sure to follow us on our locals channel. That's the heart of our community. If anything happens to one of the channels or anything, like, people's always worried that YouTube's going to take me down. I don't really think that's going to be an issue. I don't personally think. I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. Happens all the time, actually. Just ask my wife. But just in case, we do have a locals community. That's where we're at. That's where everything gathers. We have all kinds of extras over there for the community. And that's, if you want to support the channel, you can also become a supporter over there. We do workshops. We have classes and path workings. It's open to supporters only. And some things are supporters only at first, but then comes over to the online school later. Like right now, we're rolling out a summer Fae pathworking because you start it on the winter solstice. So we got to make sure the starting stuff's out before the winter solstice. Don't think I've lost my mind. I know what I'm doing there. But I know it sounds weird, right? And we're also rolling out a Norse magic pathworking that is in the early stages, and currently supporters are able to get the early stages of that as well. And my phone was silenced. Why is it making noises? Hush you. Okay, let's see. Black Liquid, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Eden Bull, good to see you. Aylin, welcome. Rainbow Orchestra, good to see you. Arc Dragon, Matthias, Kenny, and Immortal. Hello, everybody. It's going to be a full house in here. And we got more people streaming in, popping in it all the time, which is great. At Rumble, welcome. Good to see you all. If you're messaging me, I'm not seeing anything yet. Oh crap! What did I hit? So hopefully that will be. Yeah, okay, it's working. It's just nobody's chatting over there, which is fine. We don't need people chatting over there per se. Still trying to. I'm not super tech savvy. If you're new to the channel, I do the best I can do. That being said, so our topic tonight is about. I get a lot of questions and emails about finding your true path, or what you're supposed to be doing, what's your purpose, those kinds of things. A lot of people ask about those practically daily, really, when you think about it. Your life's purpose, your true path, all those lovely little things. He had Drake question for you. Do you use advanced Dragon's Flame ritual over the basic, like when doing rituals for your guardian dragon? Thanks. If you're talking about the advanced ritual from Dragon Magic 101, I personally, if I have the ability to use the advanced ritual, I actually do enjoy using it. But at the same time, many of you all know I travel. There's plenty of times where I've had to do rituals and I can't use it, whether I'm sitting in a car or whatnot. So I will just go to my sanctum and do the basic one. Though I'll be honest, I've actually done the advanced one from 101 in my sanctum as well. and I've got good results from it. So whenever possible, I do try to use the advanced one. If I'm in a hurry or something, I may use the standard one. I'm a creature of habit. And in truth, there's a ritual that you're going to learn in Dragon Magic 103. That is honestly the ritual I use most because most of my work is on that end of the spectrum. So it's just become a habit to use that ritual. And even when I'm doing like earlier stuff, I tend to just do that ritual without thinking. So, um, yeah. Mortal, thank you again for dropping those links. That's a huge help. Matthias, I'd say locals is worth it. Loving the content over there. Thank you very much. We are glad you're enjoying it. All right. So the email that triggered this, like I've been getting these emails regularly for a while, but the email that actually triggered this, a gentleman emailed me because he'd been seeing a lot of growth and practice and everything in his personal practice. And he had spoken with a couple of psychics, some tarot readers, and he picked up some books from an individual. I honestly don't know the individual. I've never read their books. And he kept saying everyone was talking about finding your path, finding your purpose, finding that true destiny, that thing that will make you happy no matter what. And he honestly got stuck. His practice has devolved because he can't find that, right? He can't find it. So he's not been able to do spell workings. He's stopped doing rituals. He's put all of his focus on trying to find this and he can't find it. And because of that, he's just not really been making a lot of progress. He emailed me because he claims my channels helped him in his practice the most, and most of his progress actually comes from my channel, which was, great compliment. But at the same time, he was looking through the channel and he's like, I don't see anywhere that you've talked about this, but all these other people are, insisting I do this. What would you suggest? Right? That's how we got here. And here's the truth of it. This true purpose, this true path, this one thing, it's horse shit. It's horse shit. And in all honesty, I have known so many practitioners that they're picking up Wicca 101 books. They're picking up Ceremonial 101 books. They're picking up starter books or just occult fluffy books. And they're talking about your true purpose, your destiny, your path, that thing that no matter what, it's going to make you happy. You're going to be happy. No, like if you actually spend any time actually working in the occult alongside any pantheon and genuinely connecting with them, they're going to quickly dispel that. Okay. But don't get disheartened because that doesn't mean it's hopeless. That doesn't mean there's not a path. And that doesn't mean there's not a way to find guidance. It just means there's not this one true path as people try to spell it out. And honestly, most of these people, either A, they were taught by people who are asking for money, or they're the ones that are already asking for money to try and help you find whatever this is. And they don't want it to be easy to find because they get more money that way, right? I don't like that. It pisses me off, personally speaking. In fact, I'm not going to lie. There's a time or two today where I was a little bit pissy and I considered going and picking up a copy of said books just to see what the books were. See, are they decent books outside this or are they, just bullshit? You never know. I didn't do it. I managed not to do it. It's the holidays. I'm trying not to do impulse or pissy buys. And yes, I do pissy buys. I get pissed and I want to see something and I'll go purchase it so I can get a first-hand account. Not a good habit, people. Not a good habit. Now, that said, though, let's talk about this. Okay? Magic can make your life easier. Magic can help you find things that will make you happy. In fact, point of fact, I know some of the happiest people I've seen in my life that are both spiritual or occultists. They don't have to be both. And when I talk to these individuals, it's so amazing because I sit down in any stage of their life, they're talking about how great it was, how happy they were, and how they just got the awesomest stories. And I've been told that I resemble this too. Okay. Well, here's the thing. These individuals have also changed career paths 4, 5, 6 times or more. Their life has taken different directions, whether it be to economy, whether it be their choice, whether it be something completely outside their control. Maybe the business went out of business. Maybe the business moved overseas and they said, I ain't going overseas. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Some of them, they retired and retirement wasn't for them. So there's things that will happen that will change that. Whether you are looking for a job, whether you're looking for a hobby, the big question isn't what is your path. That's not the question. Your destiny is not the question. The question is, what is it that would make you happy at this moment truly? And I'm not talking just big, giant piles of money, okay? Because big, giant piles of money, I know plenty of people with piles of money that are fucking miserable because they got the money only realizing money is a very hollow thing. It can buy things. Yes. It can draw people to you who pretend to be friends, but they're just as shallow, if not worse than the money. Money is a resource, okay? Just like any other resource. It is a resource. It's not a fulfilling thing. It's just a resource. And our most valuable resource of all in life is time. Now, money can make it, if you use it correctly, that you can have more to do with your time. Most people don't. They think, win the lottery, I'm set. Nope, that resource depletes very quickly. And if you're concerned and want to know more about that, go check out my financial video playlist over on YouTube. I talk a little bit about how to use money because, and we're going to talk more about financial magics and stuff on the channel as well. I know a lot of people keep asking about that. We will. But what makes you happy? And even me in my personal life, like I have had several careers through my life. At any point in my life, would you say, Drake, you're going to end up on YouTube talking about the occult? I would have pissed myself and fell out of my chair laughing at you. I would have, because it's stupid. That's what I would have said. No way that's going to happen. I'm terrified of cameras. I hate technology. Like I am seriously I enjoy being in the woods with nature. Give me a hatchet, a knife, and some rope. I'm happy. That sounds a little creepy now to think about it. Anyway, you know what I mean? Bushcraft stuff. But at the same time, like a buddy of mine asked me to help with his profession for a while. I had a blast doing it. I met some amazing people doing it. I've got some crazy freaking not safe for YouTube stories. Probably not safe for Rumble, actually, now I think about it. Because of that job. It was an amazing time in my life. Now, when my partner passed away, I did leave that profession, right? I did because I got in a funk and I was more a danger to everyone else than myself. I really was. And I had to find new work. And I always went to something a little bit more physical, whether it be working in a freight facility style warehouse. There's times I actually did Walmart. I kind of enjoyed Walmart as long as it was on the physical side of it. Like I hated register work, just standing there. That's not physical enough. I actually volunteered to go out and push carts manually. These days they got like this little machine that does it. I loved doing it manually because it was physical. I enjoy that kind of stuff. Now, that being said, let's say somebody walks up to my door, rings my doorbell and says, hey, Drake, we're going to reinstate you to your old job. We're going to get you a whole team together. We got some of your old work colleagues too. They're wanting to be on your team. Let's go. No. Actually, no. As much as I loved that job and that career field at the time, I do not want to do it again. I do not, for many, many reasons. Okay. It's not right for me now. So you need to figure out what it is you want to do. Start using your magic to make it accessible to you. Some things, the thing that may make you the happiest may not be work. It may be a hobby. Okay. I know plenty of people who they get the biggest joy in life after they clock out of work, they come home and they work on a hobby, and then on weekends they work on the hobby. I see this a lot in the bushcraft community. I see it a lot in the antique car community. I see it a lot in the souped up car community. I see it a lot in people who own farms and ranches. Like, they will work, they got jobs. But honestly, getting down in the dirt, feeding the cows, working the field, that is really what they enjoy. That's where they find that. That's cool. I want to do it. I love living on a farm. I love self-sufficiency, but to be honest, I don't want to. I can do it, but it's not something I will enjoy. Okay, I don't enjoy it. There's people who enjoy it. I'm not one of them. So you need to start asking yourself those really, really hard questions. And if your answer is, I need to win the lottery, all right, shut up, smack yourself, go back to the drawing board and start over, because that's a stupid answer. Because if your ideal to find that path, find your happiness is, I need to win the lottery, you have literally just pissed all control of your situation away. Okay? So self-mastery, out the window. Self-empowerment, out the window. If that's the only answer you can come up with, you just pissed every bit of control of your life away. Okay? And if lack of control and mastery of your life is what you're looking for, this ain't the channel for you. Okay? This channel is about self-mastery, self-empowerment of it, right? So put a pin it there, see what we got going on in the chat real quick, see if we got any comments that address this that I can take, or if anybody has any questions on this that we can work on before we ramble on further. Say if you're looking for a practice that makes you happy all the time, you're looking for a unicorn. That is true. You can't be happy all the time. You can't be joyful all the time. The very nature of growth in life requires hardships. It requires sadness. You can't be happy if you're never sad. You have to experience both sides of the spectrum to appreciate it. So yeah, that's a fool's errand. But unfortunately, we do see this kind of utopia, kumbaya concept in a lot of the. I don't know if you all still using it in the younger age, but at least when I first got in the cult, we called them fluffy bunnies. The fluffy bunnies use that kind of talk a lot. Kenny, I believe in finding your center. Finding your center, that's a different thing. Yes, finding your center, finding your balance, finding that nice place where you can coast along and you're just in a groovy kind of spot. Might not be happy, might not be upset. You're just kind of coasting. That's fine. That's a great place to start. I'm not a big believer of just sitting at the center because there's no ups or downs. If you're just always there, it's almost like you lose passion and you lose a lot of reason. So finding the center is honestly where I would say start. That's the starting point in my mind. There's people who disagree with me, and that's fine. They can. See, agreed. I shy away from that type of book. See, Ayland, this has been the practice has been the most rewarding, has also come with some high prices. You don't get happiness without the sacrifice. That's true. That is true. Money is a resource, not happiness. Yep, that's what I said. It is a resource. And risk versus reward, right? That's why I said the one thing I would change in my life if I could, it's nothing about any of the bad experiences that's happened to me. None of those. I would not change any of those. The one thing, if I had the advantage, is when I was 18, 21, I would have started investing immediately. But we didn't have apps like M1 Finance or Robinhood or any of these other things. We had none of those. So investing wasn't it was still accessible to everybody. It just wasn't as easy to do, right? This day and age, there's no reason for anyone who's 16, 18 years old not to be investing and not to be building a future where their money's working for them. And if you start early, it doesn't take a lot. You could literally make a very comfortable, self-sufficient income, even on a McDonald's paycheck. If you start early, you really can. It's kind of crazy. Um, and it's not, I'm not even talking about stock flipping and risks like day trading and stuff. I'm just talking about pick out one good, solid, reliable ETF, which is a exchange traded fund. If you just picked one and invested in that and nothing else, the way companies and stocks crammed into one, some of them you can even get that follows the stock market. Um, and you're investing in all those companies with that, and that will grow. And if you choose those that pay dividend, they actually start kicking you money back monthly. And you can even set it so the money they give you, they reinvest back. So it just starts purchasing more shares for you. And if you also set aside every check certain money to invest, that snowballs fast and massively. And you build your own resource. So it's a lack of education, and that falls into the education system. This is stuff they used to teach, and now they don't. So, and I know there's a lot of people who said they don't want to teach it because they don't want people to be self-sufficient. Maybe you can go down that conspiracy field if you want. But we also have the internet, people. You can Google it. There's 50 channels on YouTube alone that talk about this stuff. Several of them I watch for fun. I know that sounds nerdy as shit, don't it? But I do. There's a couple presenters. I absolutely adore them. I find them entertaining, even when they're talking about the same topic. I want to hear it again just because they're entertaining. I don't know why. So there are good presenters on YouTube that you can find. But that comes back to owning it and, owning yourself too. Um, let's see. I could lose everything I own, but as long as I have my family, I'm rich. The rest is just stuff. That is also a good point. But I would also say meditate on that. Like this is one that hit me. Oh God, this hit me hard, Kenny. Like you could take everything away from me, and as long as I got my wife, I'm squared away. I really am. That's all I need. And then someone hit me with, great. Now you got to figure out how you're going to be okay losing that. Excuse me. If you really want to push the envelope of self-mastery and empowerment, you have to understand how you live without the things you think you can't lose. And she's the thing for me that is the hardest to struggle with constantly. So I have literally had to go down an entire shadow working, path working shit show about my life without her. It's not a fun one, but it is something that you have to do and have to consider because, I know for a fact that if something happens to her, she doesn't want me to stop living life. She doesn't want me to just give up, sit down, fuck it, I'm done. That's not what she wants. And honestly, that would be dishonoring her in every facet of everything. And that would completely destroy the man she loves too, because that's not me. I don't give up. I don't just fuck it. So yeah, that was something that, I actually did have to think about. And a lot of people don't stop to think about that. Um, Man, that was a hard one. So if you have gotten to the point where it's all just stuff, but as long as you got your friends and family, you're square, time to take that next step. That doesn't mean get rid of them. By God, keep them, hang on to them, appreciate them. In fact, anything that meditation, that path working made me appreciate her even more. Um, Aylin, Drake, you have some not safe for life stories. That's actually a valid point. For those who have caught me in voice chat or something, yeah, that's true. That is true. That's a true statement. That is a true statement. It's been a good life though, even with the ups and downs, the tragedies, the shit shows. Honestly, I gotta say it's been an amazing life. Let's see. I like working with my hands, physical labor. Making plans to get into some more hands-on activities. That's a good thing to do, honestly. Um, like my nephew, he was worried his mom would be upset because he wanted to do welding. And honestly and truly, I get that. There's nothing wrong with a trade jobs. Hell, trade jobs make 3 digits a year or 6 digits a year, and you go into them with next to no debt. It's really hard to knock the concept. Like there was a period where trade jobs were very held high, and then we started just, you know, is that all you can do? Is that all you can do? What do you mean? Is that all I can do? I can put in 8 hours work, make 6 digits a year, and have time to live my life. Tell me what's wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a very big proponent of education, but I don't necessarily believe education has to come from a building. It doesn't have to come from a school. It doesn't have to come from a college. Some of the most educated people I know, they may have completed high school only or a bachelor's degree, but they've never stopped learning. They never stopped reading. They've constantly learned, and they are some of the smartest people I know. And in truth, some of the dumbest people I know are people who spent more time in school with doctor in front of their name. Take that for what you will. That's not to say I consider myself particularly smart. I don't. A lot of people do, but I question their judgment. But I do make a point. Like I try to learn something new every day. I love to learn. I love it. I think it bugs my wife sometimes because as much as she loves to learn, I'm that person. Like I will see this random freaking YouTube video. I have no idea what it's about. I don't know if I have any interest in it, but it's like, what the hey? And I will literally watch it just to figure out what the hey it is. And like, huh, I learned something. Cool. Um, True story. Like earlier this week, I learned this really cool fact, and I had to tell her, "Is it actually a relative fact?" No, but I learned it. It's stuck in my head. I won't forget it. Anyone here know who sold the very first karaoke machine in the United States? Because I do. I learned it. I thought it was cool. For those who don't know, it was a man named Mike Rowe when he worked on QVC. Y'all may know him from Dirty Jobs. Hell of a guy. Love him. Love his work. Did I know that? No, I didn't. But I love that fact. Will it help me in life? Probably not. Maybe if I play Trivial Pursuit or something, it might pop up, but I doubt it. Let's see. Oh, we jumped. Yep, I know. I'm way back. Let's see. I think we might be good to go on. Yeah, sound issues coming through bad. Very choppy. Well, that sucks. I'm not showing any connection issues on my side today. Nope, everything's looking good over here. Audio is mostly back. Okay, it might have been on YouTube's end or something. That's weird. I know we got windstorms supposedly tomorrow, but that's not tonight. So then, what are some signs someone is looking for money and not to actively help? What are some signs that someone's actively looking for money and not actively helping you? That's a tricky one. It really is. I usually look at vagueness, honestly, and truth, that you honestly want to know how I handle it. Anytime I go anywhere, I don't care if it's an occult fair. I don't care if it's a pagan pride, which many of you know I rarely go to those anymore. I don't care if it's a paranormal convention. I don't care if I just happen to be going down the street and see a place that has a reader, a psychic, or something, or even a Reiki worker. I always, if I'm going to talk to them, I first off assume I'm going to spend no money, first off, and I approach it as a novelty only, the same way I would approach a carnival ride. I'm going to pay an ungodly, pointless amount of money for some entertainment, and then we'll walk away. That's how I approach it every time. I don't care where I'm at, what I'm doing, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Including California psychics. Anyone's ever heard that on their radio? Like when we lived in Washington State, like occasionally the radio station, one of the few that I could tune into that I actually liked out there, would have these California psychic commercials. Most accurate psychics in the world. Really? Um, well, one of my friends, Raven, mentioned her on this channel a time or two. She was visiting. And she was like, "Do you think they're full of shit or they got or they're?" I was like, "Let's find out." So for shits and giggles, her and I decided to call up California psychics and see how they did. And we weren't expecting answers. We were going in for the fun of it, right? And we knew that whatever they're charging, which I remember it was astronomical. I want to say that that 10-minute reading ran us well over $80. It was freaking stupid. But we got to laugh about it for weeks after. In fact, we still laugh about it today. So it's paying dividends in the long run. And that's how I approach any occultist. Hands down, entertainment only. In fact, I assume when I create content, that's how you guys come to my channel. Entertainment only. You're going to come in, you're going to see some redneck talking about the occult and magic, and I'm going to present my ideals. I'm going to present what I have found works for me and the students and the people I work with. And I look at the intro video. I'm focused on the results. The results. I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to take that prosperity spell, try it for yourself. See if it works. Does it work? Okay. Did it not work? Okay. Maybe tinker with it a little if you want to. Go ahead and tinker with it. I don't care. Because in my mind, if it ain't working, why the hell are you wasting your time with it? I'm not offended if it don't work. I don't think it work. I don't think all things work for all people. You might be able to get something that works for most people, which is what I try to do. But I also assume anyone coming to this channel thinks I'm full of shit. And they're coming here for entertainment only. So my advice is to do the same and just don't walk in blind faithfully. I've never walked into a Reiki worker or anyone and actually thought they were the real deal. I go in assuming I'm going to lose my money. That's the truth. Now, I have been blessed to occasionally run into the real deal. They did right good. There was when we were in Washington State, there was a shop. By the time I left, I was not impressed by, let's say, 99% of the people around that shop. There is one individual, however, though her and I did not get along a lot. Like we had our ups and downs. When it comes to actual metaphysical skill and talent, I would say she's the real deal. I really would. The rest of them, can't say it. I really can't. So go at it strictly as a novelty and assume you're losing your money. It's the safest way to do it. If you buy the book assuming it's going to show you either something you're going to find useful or it's going to show you another set of books or ideals that isn't for you. That's pretty much how you have to do it, in my mind. And I know that's harsh because I try to be supportive of practitioners, but at the same time, it is difficult. Like one of the reasons, that's the reason, when we go to the online school, my courses, I make sure they're affordable because I actually believe in the work I do. And if I believe in the work I do, I shouldn't need to charge you $300 or $1,000 for a freaking course. I really shouldn't. And I also make sure we talk about real functional information here and on locals and places where you can utilize it for free. Because you know what? Let me show you what I'm talking about before you even invest $30. Grant you, $30 is less than eating out for some people, most people. But I want to make sure it's affordable and approachable because you know what? Maybe you're interested in dragon magic. Maybe you want to see what that crazy redneck wants to say. $30 is approachable. 300 or 1,000 is horse shit. Let's be honest. um, let's see. Not to mention, if you learn how to do havoc on HVAC and electrical work, it cuts down house maintenance cost. It does. It does. And weirdly, like, that's one of the things I don't get. It's like, I think my generation was the last generation where basic house maintenance was actually taught. Like, I know how to do a lot of house maintenance. I'm actually not as good as my brother. Um, but compared to like someone who's 10 years younger than me, it's insane. Um, seriously look into skill sets to do things like that. Seriously. I used to sit and watch things like This Old House and remodeling projects and stuff like that. I still do it, actually, now I think about it. Discovery Channel has a lot of these where they revamp houses and try to flip them and stuff like that. I watch, I don't know why, but I love that stuff. Um, learn to do some of that stuff for yourself. It really can save you some money, and it's a lot of fun too. Um, I don't do a lot of it right now because we are, like I said, we move a lot, and the way military housing works, you kind of got to leave it how you found it, and if something goes wrong, you're supposed to let them know, and it's usually they fix it. Rarely do they be like, well, that's your responsibility. The only thing they let me do right now is light bulbs. Seriously, that's the only thing they let me do. They will let me paint, but I also have to paint it back to their standard matte color. And like, I'm not really that big on changing my wall color, anyways. I'm not a decorative person. Me and my wife, we live very kind of Spartan in how we do things. So we're just like, screw it, we're not painting. We're boring like that. Um, uh, boy, Matt, what do you think about Mars Cancer retrograde? Can you explain your thoughts about it? Absolutely. In fact, I got a video on Mercury retrograde that goes into this as well. So you feel free to go over there and check that out. I don't believe in it. I don't. Um, do I think that the moon and stars and the sun may have some potential influence upon your birth and dictate your life? I think that they may be, I view it as a snapshot at best, a snapshot on the day you're born. Beyond that, I don't think that they give any dictation past what you give them. And the same is true for retrograde, because if you actually look at scientifically what a retrograde is, it's an illusion. It is an optical illusion. And if you approach it with arcane senses and actually look at the etherical shifts, it doesn't do much energetically. It's the same energy because it's an optical illusion. It's not like when the moon's closer or further. In fact, the planetary masses being closer or further will cause some shift because the masses are there, but the retrograde effect itself causes nothing. Um, that being said, there's enough people who believe in retrograde that they can actually stir up um, energy that essentially the belief in it is creating. But then, if you go check out my Mercury retrograde video, a magician, a mage, is supposed to be the master of themselves, right? Self mastery. You're in charge of your energy, not the planets. And in that ritual, I give a basic ritual that I use quite often to maintain and control my energy daily. I don't care if it's retrograde, I don't care what it is. I control my energy. And myself, my students, and hundreds of colleagues that I know have never had to worry about retrograde because of that. Like any superstition, and which is appropriate because here we are, Friday 13th. It has the power you give it. So if you allow it to affect you, if you give it power, if you believe in it, it'll affect you. But at the same time, make sure it's actually there first. And the illusion of it moving backwards is an illusion. It's not really going backwards. It's still the same energy, the same planet, all that. That's where I stand on it. And after all my years of living, I've not seen any effects. In fact, I love retrogrades because it's some free entertainment for me. Like, I know a lot of occultists that believe in it, and I get to literally watch them go through life self-sabotaging themselves while me and my friends and colleagues who, we've done some testing and played around with it, we've realized it's more or less a self-curse. I can't think of any of us that's ever had any issues during retrogrades. But that and $5 won't buy you a cup of coffee at Starbucks these days. So take that with what you will, mate. Boy, Matt, what do you think about bog publishers? Should I totally avoid them? Okay, so that's a fair question. Should you totally avoid them? Any publisher, I'd say, approach and read with an open mind and read with caution and wisdom, right? I have had the blessing of having a few books gifted to me by friends. And I've actually purchased a few, like Asenath Mason's Cliffothic trilogy, or is it 4 books? It's 3 or 4 books. I purchased them all because I love Asenath Mason as a writer, and I love the way she presents. So I've read through those, and I have been fortunate to get a chance, whether it be a birthday present or not, to read some of the other stuff. And I found it quite fascinating. Now, does that mean you have to go through there and do every single thing that is done in there? No. If something goes against your moral compass, don't flip and do it, right? Don't. There are some things that pop up on his website that has popped up in some of his stuff that, yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, let's be honest. You all know I don't even mix drugs and alcohol and magic, right? I don't do it. Well, I don't do drugs, period. There are many practitioners on his site who do. That's their choice. That would be your choice whether you purchased a book from Bog or not. But that being said, are there good nuggets of wisdom and information in there? In Asenath's books, yes. And some of the books I've read, yes. I was more impressed with some than others. That's true. And honestly, the ones I wasn't impressed with, I can't even remember the titles of right now, because really the ones that I know for sure I have are Asenath's. So you got to take that as you will. Now, they are expensive. There's no doubt. It's an expensive book. I think when I bought them, I don't know what the prices are these days, but I want to say when I purchased them, the Cliffothic series that Asenath Mason did was right around $80 a book. Now, I never bought the collector's edition and all that crap. I just got the basic cheapo book. It's still hardback, but it's the cheapest one they offered. And I was okay with it because it was an investment in my research, it was an investment in me, and it was an investment in an author I enjoyed, right? But at the same time, would I regularly spend $80 for a book? No. Most of the books, if they hit $80, I'm done, gone the other way. I seriously am. Even if it's a fiction book, I got just. So you got to figure that out yourself. There's a lot of things on there I haven't read, I haven't been through, and some of them are definitely books that I don't know that I'd waste $1 on. But then there's topics that I honestly, let's be honest, there's occult topics I personally find to be snake oil, right? I've not seen any data to show they're functional. And until I see the data, I'm going to remain skeptical. There's plenty of people spending lots of money in that research area. Okay? Now, do I mind them researching it? No. Don't bet your life on it though. Like there are people, okay? Is it I want to say it's called Ormus. It's a solution. And everyone who showed how to make it, everywhere I've seen it, we have a scientific term for what they're doing. It's not making anything metaphysical. It's not making anything special. They're literally just saturating pure water with the minerals and salts that they're putting in there. That's all it is. So it ends up basically being salt water. And the distillate that's falling out of it is the same thing you would get if you were to put too much sugar into sweet tea. There's a point where the sugar is all suspended. It's all perfect. It's all tea. And anyone in the South, you know what I'm talking about. And then you add that extra little tablespoon of sugar and it just goes, falls out. I spent 6 years studying the Ormus phenomenon and never saw anything to make me believe in it, point blank. I saw a lot to make me believe in the, what's the word for it? Placebo effect of it. So there's only so much I can say, but you have to take that risk for yourself. They like to write on the dark and edgy side. They really do. There's a lot of things that I would say don't do, but you see that stuff on the internet too. You see it in video games, right? You see it in the freaking show Supernatural. It's everywhere. People know that show. Does that mean you get a spiky sword and go stab somebody because you think they're a demon? No. That's stupid. You know not to do that. Use your common sense, people. Well, I know that's a superpower this day and age, but try and use your common sense, please. See, some time ago you suggested me about energy manipulation class on your website. Is it still available to take? If I recall, you said it was free. Are you talking about the Arcane Senses class? Because that's the free one. The Arcane Senses class should be there. Hold on. Let me see. Because we do rotate classes. I can double check that for you right this moment, actually. But the Arcane Senses class is the one that's free. It's a work at your own pace. Other courses, other workshops and stuff are when we teach them, and those are usually through the locals community. But when we're talking about energy manipulation and stuff, that's either going to be the meditation class or the Arcane Senses class. Meditation class is not free. It's a big one. But the Clairvoyance and Arcane Sight class is currently on the online school right now as we speak, as is the meditation class, which is only $30, even though it's a massive class and pathworking. But it does deal with some energy manipulations in it as well. But yeah, I've honestly had a good experience with Boggs books that I've read for the most part. And I mean, you saw I had EA on the channel once. Him and I chatted on a roundtable. I've never had any major issues with him. I'm not going to speak for other people's experiences though. Well, the whole Friday the 13th, I mean, no one even really knows where it truly got associated with bad luck. Like a lot of people want to say it's the Templars when they were arrested and all that stuff, but no one knows for sure. Like there's so many different theories. There's no hard, this is why. And the actual day, like when it actually started to become mainstream as a day of bad luck, actually was years and years and years and years and years beyond the events people claim gave it the reputation, which is kind of a weird thing unless somebody's creating it for funsies, which happens a lot actually. So we don't really know its origins. And for most people, honestly, truly, it is just a normal day. For me, it is. I love Friday the 13th because I get to pick on people who believe in it. and I love to pick on them when they believe in it. I used to have a person who was so superstitious. When my wife had her cat, I would remind them not to come over. It's Friday the 13th, and we have a black cat. Um, so it's always been a fun day for me, but it's fun because I make it fun, not because it does anything magical or woo woo. LOL, no kidding on the $5. What about you, Jack? Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really drink Starbucks anymore. I make my coffee at the house. Occasionally, when me and the wife's out, she'll want a sweet treat, and I usually get her a black and white mocha from Starbucks. But let's be honest, she ain't going for quality coffee. She's going for sugar. Um, you know, you mean Burr from the Goetia? Yeah, I've worked with Burr. I've worked with all the Goetic spirits. I, have we gotten to Burr in our series? I need to get back on that series. I want to say we did a video on him already. Um, and placebo effect can be great. It absolutely can. I mean, we honestly have no way to prove that magic isn't a placebo effect all around. We have no way to truly prove it or measure it. In fact, I'm well aware of that. But at the same time, if that placebo effect is still manifesting the changes I want in my life, screw it. I'm going to use it. Right? I don't make okay, I love to play poker, people. I won a few vehicles playing cards. But I will never make fun of somebody who has a lucky coin, a lucky rabbit's foot, or something like that. Because if they're sitting there, they're having a bad night of cards, and then they grab that rabbit's foot and say, "Oh, come on." And then suddenly the game turns around. You know what? Is it a rabbit's foot? Yes. I don't care if it's a stuffed jackalope. If it helps them, fine. Not hurting anything. It's on a keychain, right? That's fine. I know people who have lucky socks. If they feel it brings value to their life, I don't care. And I have seen it literally turn a man's night around. Literally. Like, I know rabbit's foot or just a rabbit's foot, right? It wasn't enchanted at all. I know this for a fact because I know this old redneck, and the dude literally got the rabbit's foot himself the old-fashioned way. Even made a stew out of the rest of the rabbit. But dude was having a very, very shitty night at the table, was about to go bust. He was literally one hand from going bust. He whips out the rabbit foot. Dude almost cleared the table. He did. He almost cleared the table. So that turned his night around. Was it all in his head? Most likely. Most likely, all in his head. Saved his bacon when it came to the cash, though. So, and see, these are all different things that you can do when we are talking about your path and finding it. In the occult, research is part of it, right? I have researched plenty of traditions and stuff that I had so much fun doing it. I've said it on the channel, even ceremonial magic. I had so much fun going down the rabbit hole that is ceremonial magic and learning about it. And I still love when I get the chance to work with a ceremonial magician here or there, or even when I'm working with a client and they want to know more about the ceremonial practice and we can't get a hold of someone else. But on a day-to-day level, is ceremonial magic for me? No. But I got to learn about it. It was a lot of fun. And when it comes to being able to attempt to answer questions for you all, it's a reservoir I can pull upon when my brain ain't rusted shut. What about vampiric tradition? You have any experience? There's an interesting grimoire that revolves around vampiric magic, and it blends Abramelin tradition with Goetic workings. Depends on there's like so many different variants on vampiric magic. However, if the tradition of vampiric magic is taking energy or life force from another person for your greedy benefit, then you suck as a magician. That's my 2 cents. There are plenty of vampiric style traditions out there that do not require you to take energy, ether, or life force from another person and are very functional. The particular grimoire you're talking about, I don't know. Also, there's a lot of vampiric traditions that actually have the magician to attempt to mutilate and scar their energetic body and cause irreparable harm to the magician, if you believe in that sort of thing. I would advise against those as well, because that leads down to some bad places. That leads to some very bad places, whether you believe the energetic body can be scarred or damaged, or you don't. That kind of working can lead into a psychotic effect, and that's not a good place to be either. So I'm not a big fan of most of those, and in fact, I can't think of one that I can recommend as a grimoire. If Bog has one, I don't think I've read it. So that would have to be something you got to look at. But yeah, if you have to steal from someone else to empower you, I pretty much put that in the shitty category. And I don't really have much respect for mages doing that because, yeah, yeah, a mage worth their salt and their practice wouldn't need to do that. That's just my 2 cents, though. Yes. Um, you can try diving into a grimoire. It depends on how the grimoire is written. It depends on, is it written for a beginner? Is it written in advanced concepts? Um, not all grimoires are designed to teach you something from the start, right? Not all grimoires are beginner friendly. There's a lot of books that are definitely not beginner friendly. The Cliff Off comes to mind, actually. The Cliff Off is not for beginners. If you're a beginner, you should not really be working through the Cliff Off. There's plenty of people who do it. Some of them manage to come out of it. Some of them, not so much. But then again, I don't know you. I don't know your practice. I couldn't find you in a crowd. I can't tell you what you can and cannot do. That's going to be your decision. You have to use that. Your path, it's your responsibility, right? Everything. Your successes, your failures, your fuck ups, your great days, your days of absolute desolation. All of that is yours. It's yours to own entirely. Um, so as you walk your path, just know it's yours to own, the good and the bad. Don't blame co-editing. Don't blame me. Don't blame Raymond Buckland. Don't blame Scott Cunningham. Don't blame any of those people out there. Because at the end of the day, it's your choice to study. It's your choice to attempt a ritual. It's your choice to do the path workings. And it's your life and it's your discipline. It's your dedication to the problem solving. Life ain't safe. It's not safe. It's not meant to be safe. Let's see. Merry Christmas to you too, Dark Knight. Mugs up. What do we think if you make a pact with Burr? Okay, first off, pacts aren't what most people think they are. Let's be clear. If you're going to make a pact thinking the Hollywood concept, I'm going to make a pact with this demon, you're going to grant my wish. Don't waste your time, because that's what it is. It's a waste of time. A pact is an agreement with an entity. You don't sell your soul. It doesn't require blood, doesn't require any of that horse shit. It is an agreement with an entity. It is a binding agreement. That is true, but it's an agreement. The entity's going to help you with something, and you need to be specific with what they're helping you with. But you also have to do your part in the project as well. And it's a long-term working process that you two are working toward this goal. And if you don't do your part, the entity ain't going to do jack shit for you. So if you're going to pact work for rub the lamp, make a wish, don't waste your time. Pacts can be very handy in helping you progress and helping you learn, but it also assumes you're listening. It assumes you're doing the work. If an entity's trying to tell you something and you're not listening, whether your arcane senses aren't developed, which honestly, you can't make a pact without your arcane senses being developed, or you just choose not to listen, which there's a lot of stubborn people, then the pact does no good either. So you want to do the work to do it. But never in magic itself is a pact necessary. I'm not going to say I've never used them. I have used them. But it's understand the reality of what they are and not the Hollywood fiction. Let's see, Matthias, would you consider doing a video on the pros and cons of different vampiric paths? I'll think on it, Matthias. I'll think on it. One of the reasons I don't talk about that style of magic often is because, in truth, most of the information out there leads to some very nasty, toxic places, in truth. And most of the ones that, honestly, I think are solid practices, it's hard to find any published material because they keep to themselves for whatever reasons. So I'm not going to say the material's not out there, because it is out there. You can find it. You just got to dig. It's just a pain in the ass. And at the same time, the vampiric concept draws in so many edgelord whack jobs that honestly, they go down into territories that could probably get me kicked off YouTube. I'll be honest with you. So that might be a locals discussion if we have it, and I will think about it and consider it, because I understand the value of having that conversation. I do. In fact, I know a magician. If I could get them to come on and have that discussion with me, would be great. I don't know if I could drag him on here or not, though. That might, I'd love to get him on here for that conversation if I could. See, not Kenny. See, Angel Glover, do you have a plan before? Do you have a plan before making a pact, like making a pact with Tier to help develop discipline? Yep. Have an expiration, all those good things. That is correct. I did a video. I did a couple videos on pact working. So you should be able to find those. I actually got the videos on this channel somewhere. There's like 2 or 3 of them. But what do I think a person should do? They should work to actually build up their discipline, their self-mastery, and their self-empowerment, whatever that is for them. I don't know what the right road is. I don't even know if magic's right for you. So I can't tell you if I think you should make a pact. I can't. You have to make that decision for yourself. No one can tell you that. And I know that may sound weird, me saying I don't even know if magic's right for you, but I don't. There's a lot of people who magic's more problems than it'll ever be helpful for them. Um, at the same time, there's people who find their inspiration, their driving forces, and their focuses in so many other areas. That's fine. I got no issues with that. And that includes religion. Um, for people who are religious and can walk that path, I think it's amazing. I know a lot of amazing religious people. Um, it's just never been a path that I've been able to walk well, if you will. Um, so I don't personally take it, but I also hold nothing against it. So take that for what it is. I see we're getting clocks thrown at us. We'll get ready to wrap up here so we can all get our weekend started. If you have enjoyed these ramblings, give us a thumbs up. It does help the channel, whether you're over on Rumble or over here on YouTube. And again, be sure to check us out on Locals. That's where our community is. That's where we're building everything up. We are trying to do more and more over there. We got a lot of great projects starting at the first of the year. Right now, we're already rolling out the Fae pathworking and the Norse Magic pathworking for supporters over there. It will eventually come to the online school. At least the Norse Magic one should. I have to double check with the Queens about the Fae one. I want the Fae one to come over there. I just got to get their approval. All those lovely little things are happening over there. And you don't have to be a supporter to be at Locals. It's just there's more accessible to supporters. So follow us over there for any updates, channel going on, stuff like that. And make sure you follow us on Rumble because we do have some Rumble only content for conversations that we're going to have starting in the new year. It'll be me and Bornoldus for sure. And we got to wait for him to clear out his holiday schedule to get that up and running. So make sure you're checking us out over there. Let's see. Let's see. Yep. Okay. I think we got everything. All right. Cool. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. I will see you all. I think the next MCH is Monday when I should see you all. We do have another video for the Fae Pathworking releasing next week. I want to say it actually releases on Monday for those who are following that. It should drop Monday, which should be the last video so that if you're keeping your notes together and everything, you will be ready to start on the solstice when the pathworking is supposed to start. So to anyone who is getting ready to undertake that pathworking, the best of luck to you. We are looking at potentially doing a New Year's Eve stream. I'm still in talks with the admin to see who can make it, who will be there. The general concept is it'll be an extended stream, us getting on here, having some fun, attempting to ring the new year in to some extent from coast to coast, East Coast to West Coast. So wherever you're at from the community, at least in the U.S., we can attempt to ring in the new year with you. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. We've never done one. A lot of people's asked us to do it. We figured we might try it. It will be at Rumble though, because the admin are all in different states. So in order to bring the admin on and tell jokes and have fun, we need to be able to bring multiple people on. And YouTube still hasn't granted my wish of being able to do that. So Rumble will be where we have to stream it. My apologies. Rumble at least gives us that tool. YouTube, give us the tool. We need the tool. Come on, YouTube. And I never claimed to be a vampire, Dark Knight. Don't know where you're getting that. Someone asked a question about vampiric grimoires and vampiric magic. I never claimed to be a vampire. So with that said, everybody, you have a fantastic evening, and I will chat with you later.